It's time for another Dice Tower review with Zee Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at Karmaka. I think that's how you say that, Karmaka. It's about karma and it's about resurrection and about manipulating your cards just the right way so that you ascend through the resurrection ladder, finally achieving enlightenment and winning the whole thing. Let me show you how the game works. As I said, card driven, sort of take that game. Let's take a peek at it, then we'll come back and I'll tell you what I thought of it. The objective of the game is, as I said before, to go through reincarnation several times until you have achieved transcendence, getting all the way up here. If you are the first player to do that, you win the whole thing. To play, we're going to give everybody 4 cards. You also get your own personal deck of 2 cards. We have the general deck over here, and then throughout the game, we will form a discard that the game calls the Ruins. You are ready to begin. On your turn, you are going to first draw a card from your own deck, assuming you still have one. So you're going to take a card, and then you are going to play a card or pass. If you pass, first of all, you can only pass if your deck is not empty. If it is empty, you cannot pass. You have to play a card. And when you play, you can do a couple of things. You can play a card to your deeds. That means you ignore the ability on the card, you play it for the points, and you are trying to build up a set here, a value that allows you to climb the ladder of reincarnation here. For the first step, you need a 4. However, it has to be a 4 of all the same color. So this is 2 green. If I can get a total of 4 green, once I'm ready for reincarnation, then I'll ascend the little ladder here. So that's one way you can do it. Play for to your deeds, just the value. You can play for its ability, which is the ability down here, which will typically mess with things. Let you draw more cards, let you grab cards from the ruins, let you mess with the other players, all sorts of, mostly take that powers, but some beneficial ones as well. The final option when you play a card is you can play a card to your future life. That means taking the card, setting it aside somewhere, so that when you are done with this cycle, with this life, you will then grab the future life cards and they'll become your current hand. Alright? So those are your 3 options, and so this player could just play this as deeds, let's say, and that would be that. Then the next player would go, they again draw a card from the deck, and you can do whatever you want to. In this case, for example, I can play this card called Thievery for its ability. The ability says, take a rival's exposed deed into your hand. The exposed deed, by the way, is the topmost one. So let's say I want to take this player's exposed deed here into my hand. Having done that, it creates bad karma for me, because I just messed with that player. And so when you mess with someone, the card you used to attack them is offered to that player, and they have a choice. They can either put it in their future life, and so you set it aside for later, or they're not interested, you just ruin the card. You throw it away, okay? In this case, the player will keep that. It's a 3 in blue. They take a look at their hand. They've got some more blue. They could set those towards their future life as well, and build themselves a nice little hand for next cycle. And this is going to continue. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here, and let's say that this player had played this, and these were all in their future life, let's say. All right? So I'm just going to move these aside for a second. Here's what's going on. Let's say it is this player's turn again right now. They have no hand, they have no deck. This is the future life. At that point, you hit reincarnation. You are first going to check if you have the necessary value to ascend here on the ladder. In this case, they do. They have 5 of one color. If they had this, by the way, let's say that's what they had, they do not have enough because they have 3 red, they have a total of 3 green, you need at least 4. That would not do it. They would stay at this level. However, if they are able to climb, they are going to move up. Come on now, cards. Behave. They're going to move up 1 level. They're going to ruin all of this. They're going to give themselves their future life as a new hand of cards. And then they're going to give themselves a deck of cards so that the total between these two is 6 cards, okay? And then that's the entire turn. They do not play a card that round. That round for them is just reincarnation. Let's say they do not move up. They did not have enough. In that case, they still ruin all the cards. They still give themselves a new deck, all of that jazz. But since they don't move up on the ladder, they instead take one of these karmic rings, which you can later cash in when you are attempting to move up on the ladder as a +1. So this is a little bit of a prize that you can, if you fail at moving up, hang on to, and later can give you that final push. So very good stuff there. And that's basically it. Players are going to go through that cycle, setting aside cards, prepping a good hand for the next go-around until the players have moved up. Sometimes you'll fail a couple of times in a row, but then you build up a couple of rings, etc. Finally, someone gets all the way up to 7, which is how many you need of the same color. Again, that could include some of these rings. And as soon as someone does that, they win the whole thing. That is how you play the game. So let's go back up top. Let me give you some final thoughts about this one. When I first heard about this one, when I first saw it, I was not sure what to expect of it. It looks very Kickstarter-ish. It's got just the title of the game. There's no designer. There is no company. It was a take that game in some aspects, so I was very apprehensive to say the least. I looked into who the designer was, or rather the designers, and it's a couple of guys who have made an app that is well known, And so again, I was not sure, these guys are new, I think, as far as I know, to designing card games. Having said all of that, though, the game really caught me by surprise. It's a good game. It's well done. The theme is interesting. It's not something I've seen before. The mechanisms fit that theme well. I like the concept of playing a card against someone else and then quite possibly having that card taken and used against you in another life. The concept of karma. I like the concept of giving yourself cards for the future, setting those aside for your next life. And so the whole thing is very cool, and it looks good. The cover doesn't do anything for me, but the card artwork is good. And so it is a take that game. I would recommend it to folks that are okay with confrontation, but it really tempers that confrontation with solid mechanisms to back that up. If you have a card in this game that does some amazing smackdown, it's not an automatic play. You really got to think about it. It's probably going to have a high number for one thing, so you probably want to play it to your deeds to advance up the ladder. And even if you do play it against someone else, they could quite possibly take it and use it against you later on, And so I like that. It makes you make a tough choice every time you play a card. What do you do with that card, Clever, interesting stuff. Stands out from the ordinary. It does new things in card play that I can't think of, of another game that quite does it. I haven't seen this idea anywhere else, as far as I can think. However, the game is also not mind-blowing. It's a good game. I'm going to give this one a seal of approval. And again, I would recommend it as long as you are okay with a lot of direct confrontation and you enjoy the theme, you enjoy the artwork, all of that stuff, okay? So, for me, thumbs up, seal of approval. Check this one out, folks. Karmaka.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.